Oh my god. Son of a gun, dude. Hey, what's up, y'all? Been a lot of confusion on when to fish deep water versus shallow water for redfish and speckled trout and drum. I had a lot of questions. A lot of people sent me emails and stuff about, why I did so good in 12 inches of water on one day, and then the next week I said you can't catch any in shallow. Well, because the weather keeps changing. So anytime we get these pretty good cold fronts like we did, where it dropped down to freezing temperatures, the water temperature is going to drop in the 50s, and from my experience, I won't find any fish in shallow for a little while. Basically this whole week I'll be fishing deeper water. I'm not fishing every day this week, but if I was going to fish some more, I'm going to fish tomorrow, but and I have some areas picked out that are deeper because I know that water temp is still in the 50s. It hasn't warmed up. We haven't had several days of warm temperatures to warm up the water into the 60s to where the fish will go in shallow. So, and y'all know I'm a shallow water fisherman. I love catching fish, especially redfish, in 2 feet of water or less. So, of course, I'm looking at these areas every time. I'm just going through real quick. I'm scanning the water for bait fish, and I can guarantee, at least for myself, that if I don't see bait fish in shallow, then I'm not going to catch any fish. You cannot really catch fish with no bait fish. They follow the bait. So, especially if they're going to feed. So, and if they're going to feed, those are the best times to catch them, of course. So once again, these apps and stuff, these fishing apps and all these things that we try to look at to get some ideas of what's going on out there are not always correct because they're based on historical data. Historical meaning this time last year and the previous years, they're assuming it's going to be, the water temp will be, let's just say 60 degrees right now. But then we get a hard front that they didn't account for from just those average years from before, then none of that historical data matters to me. What matters is what's happening on the water when I go out there. And I don't use any kind of fish finders or electronics. I can just tell from putting my hand in the water. I just know, okay, today we're going deeper, or today I can probably catch them in shallow. So when can you go back in shallow? Here it is, January 26th. We're in the dead of winter now. We've had some pretty good cold fronts, and I just don't see it happening anytime soon. We do have some temperatures next week that are going to be about 75 for a couple of days. So towards the end of a couple of days of a warming trend, you can probably catch them in shallow. They're probably going to go back in shallow. But then the next day, it's going to be back to 37 degrees. So they're going to go right back into the deeper water where it's warmer, looking for mud, shell, and an area that's preferably deeper than 5 foot. I don't usually fish deeper than probably 10 foot. So I'm just fishing channels and deeper creeks. The marsh creeks, they will still hold them right now. The marsh creeks, a lot of them in the areas I fish are about 4 feet deep, and I just haven't hit them, but it's on my list of things to do because the creeks are so small and I'm a guide. It's a little bit harder to fish with a couple of people in those little creeks. So I plan on fishing them by myself here pretty soon. So I know they're still in the creeks and the deeper stuff that's around the marsh. So don't pass up the marsh this time of year, but I would pass up the back lakes on the colder days. So the warmer days, if you got a few days of warming weather, then it's very possible to go in shallow. It's one of those things you just have to look. And if you don't see the water doing anything, you look across there, it's completely flat, it's calm. You don't see any kind of ripples, no kind of bait, no kind of nothing. and maybe you go through there just a couple 100 yards and you're looking, and if it's a ghost town, as far as the bait's concerned, it's going to be a ghost town for the fish too. So go deeper on those colder days. So on my computer, I use weatherunderground.com. The mobile app is just not as easy to read for me. So I use my computer, and this is what it looks like. This is my new favorite app or website. I've been using it for about 6 months. It's been pretty damn accurate. It's been pretty good. So another thing they do on Underground is they give you the hourly forecast for like seven days or more, and on that is the barometric pressure. So that's pretty important to me. I like to follow the pressure. Even though I have pressure that I prefer to fish, it doesn't mean that I won't go out there and give it a shot when it says it's high pressure, or low pressure. I do catch fish on some of those unfavored condition days. So the lows for this week, tomorrow is 50, the next day is 39, 41, 59, 56, 62. We're getting warmer, and plus the high is 75 for Tuesday, and the high on Monday is 71. So maybe towards Tuesday and Wednesday, possibly Thursday, right before Thursday night hits 37 degrees, possibly those fish will go in shallow. So I'm not saying you can't catch fish in shallow in the wintertime. I'm just saying you're probably not going to catch any in shallow when it's really, really cold. So I'm not looking to fish shallow for at least until probably Monday or Tuesday. I may check it out. But you also got the barometric pressure by the hour right here, 30.2 at 6 a.m. and then it'll show you that it's rising just a little bit, and then there's a pressure drop in the afternoon. It's going to drop all the way down to 30.15. Sometimes these pressure drops will definitely produce a good bite. This is not a big pressure drop though, from 0.25 to 0.15. It's not huge, but it can definitely be worth looking at. So it went all the way to February 10th for the hourly forecast, and today is January 26th. So a couple weeks, of course. Weather changes within 2 weeks. Especially look at these things a few days in advance so you can see what the weather trend is and what's going on. So the winter lures that are still working for me, obviously, is the wake bait, putting pauses in it. I reel it about 4 times and I pause it. Reel it 4 times and I pause it. Of course, I know a lot of people catch fish on the corkies, jerk baits, or suspending jerk baits or twitch baits. Definitely work good in the winter. Your soft plastics will work year round. Soft plastics are the biggest, most versatile lure out there that I believe in. I don't use them a whole lot because I like catching them on the fast moving, things like the 6 cents wake bait and stuff like that. So, but when I'm not getting the hits on that wake bait, I'm going right to the soft plastic. In the wintertime, you can, if you're not having much luck on the smaller ones, the 4-inch or maybe the little 3-inch soft plastics, then upsize it. Try upsizing it in the wintertime. And or if you started off with a big soft plastic and you're not having any luck, then downsize it. Sometimes a simple downsize of 1 inch smaller or an upsize of 1 inch bigger can make all the difference. So I recommend using the scent. That's just me. I've seen days where the scent, definitely they wanted the scent because I was sight fishing shallow and I'm bringing that lure right in front of them and they peck it and then they take off over and over again. That's happening, and I'm like, what the hell, put a little scent on there and I start hooking up. So sometimes the scent really matters and sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes I catch limits or double limits with no scent. So to me, it's not going to hurt to put it on. So put it on as often as you can. I use the Procure and my favorite scent is the menhaden. It's just my confidence scent. It's the scent that I started off using and did really, really good with. And I went to some of the other scents because I couldn't find the menhaden, and it was tough over and over again. But then again, it could have just been a tough bite. So I think any of the scents are going to help out some. And then you got some lures that will have scent built into it already, and those I'm starting to like, such as the AM lures. They got an infused garlic scent in there. You know, there's some other things like Gulp. They have the scent. The problem with the Gulp that I've seen in the real salty water is the little trash fish chewing chewing on the Gulp, and then your tail's gone. So some of the other areas that I fish that are in the marsh, the trash fish are not near as bad over there, I guess because it's brackish water. So like I said, the salty water, and same thing with dead shrimp. I've tried dead shrimp in the real salty water, and you can't keep it on the hook. So those are just some of the things I've been experiencing, you know, out there in the real salty water. I've been fishing real salty for about a month. I hadn't really fished any brackish water lately, but like I said, I plan on hitting some deeper creeks in the marsh. So if you're unsure of how to find these deeper areas, you just got to use Google Earth, man. I look at Google Earth every single day. It took me a couple of years of being on top of these spots that I'd never even been to, and just looking at the structure. And if you find these structure changes in one area and you go fish it and you do good, you can look for that same structure anywhere else, and if you find that same structure, you can go fish it and do good. I do it over and over again. I fish brand new areas all the time. My favorite thing to do is to fish something brand new that I found on Google Earth, go out there and catch good fish. So this is your deeper water, your blue water, and this is your grass flat that's surrounding that deeper channel. And in the wintertime, they will drop off on the cold days in that deeper blue water. And if it warms up, if you have a warming trend, they'll go right back on the flat to feed again. So hopefully some of these things are less confusing now. Hopefully I answered some of y'all's questions. I appreciate all of y'all. Thanks for watching, and tight lines.